Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And
all right, as
Miami,
always, Dolphins number one, baby!
So fins up to all of you guys. Thank you for doing
I just want everybody to remember, we may not always agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we do agree on, is we are all Dolphin fans. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy. Joining me tonight, as always, is Dolphin Thirsty, a.k.a. Rob Mosley. And we've got a special guest tonight, Hank Fish Tank Hank. I almost forgot your name there, Hank.
That's all right.
He's joining us
after
tonight.
I've had too many drinks.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink, so what's my excuse?
Well, I don't either, but I just figured it went with it.
There you go. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, Hank. I appreciate you. It was a surprise, so it really good that you could join us tonight. We're here for Tuesday therapy, Hank. Therapy. And,
I can use some therapy.
Yeah, we can all use some therapy after the last 23 years we haven't won a playoff game. So I feel like the battered Fins fan.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you mean
like I said,
battered as a fin before you're fried?
Yeah, there you go.
I just figured I'd check.
I hear you. Rob, tell me what you got going on at Dolphin Thirsty.
Hey, always just keeping Dolphins news just like on this great channel. Check out my Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel. Working on updating the website. I got a little work behind the scenes I have to do to get it more working smoothly. But definitely check out the YouTube channel. It's growing slowly but surely. We reached over 600 team members. So growing at a slow pace, but fun every step of the way. So, and hello, doll, Miss Court, aka Courtney. She checked in on us here.
I see she's in there, Miss Doll. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Fins up, Courtney.
As you say, Courtney, we're going to drop the link tonight. We're going to drop that link, so stick around. Maybe you can join the show as well.
Yeah, I dropped it already. I jumped the gun. I dropped it already.
That's fine. Hank, what do you got going on with Fins Bandwagon, and what other stuff are you doing? Are you involved?
It's been Fins Bandwagon on Thursdays every at 8 o'clock with Evan and I. And on Saturdays, Bobby has been away because he's been doing his son's basketball. I'm not sure if he's back this week or next week, though.
Okay. Great, man. Great. So you all will be doing will you continue to do the Fins Bandwagon throughout the off season though?
I'm not sure. That's an Evan call.
Okay.
That's an Evan call. I let Evan make all those calls. I didn't know if he was going to continue on throughout or not, but there's always things to talk about.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what we're going to do tonight. That's why we're here. We're going to talk about our Dolphins. But first, I want to talk about the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers were in the Super Bowl. Kansas City, of course, won. And I want to ask you guys, both of you guys, a question. Did you notice the quarterbacks in those games?
Of course. Brock Purdy
and Brock Purdy.
Patrick
Did you
freaking Mahomes, the best quarterback
Patrick
on the
freaking
planet right
Mahomes?
now.
Yeah. Did you see how Mahomes just took over the game in the last 1 minute and 50 seconds?
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of playmakers you got to have on your team, specifically at the quarterback position. And that's the thing, in my opinion, is what we're lacking. We're lacking the quarterback playmaker position on our team. And I've said this before. I think Tua did a great job this year. He improved a little bit this year. He did. Did well against the garbage teams, but he lost against the bad teams, or lost against the good teams.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But anyway, the bottom line is, my point is I've been hearing a lot of rumors going around that the Miami Dolphins are thinking about paying him $55 million a year to play football for the Miami Dolphins. Hank, I'm going to start with you. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that?
Wow, I'm surprised. I know that they need him for a year as a fill gap. I do know that for sure, because there isn't really anybody out there that's actually better than he is, in my opinion, available. So with that said, it's a matter of finances for the team. $55 million. Are they going to do him a 1 year, a 2 year, 4 year, 5 year? What kind of contract are they going to give him for that $55 million per year? Is it just going to be 1 year? That's what I don't know, and that's where I'm waiting to see how the chips fall, so that I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and say, "Oh, $55 million, that's crazy." Seeing's believing. How's that?
Sure.
Seeing is believing. And if they offer
sure.
him anything past 2 years, I would be surprised.
Really? You don't think they're going to offer him anything past 2 years?
I don't think they're going to offer him a giant, huge $60 million, $55 million a year times 5 or 6 years. I just don't think they're ready to do that.
Wow,
I don't think they are. I think, and I've said this before on another broadcast, I think Tua is a great quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to step up, we have to go elite. Now, some of his numbers say otherwise, but that's just numbers. When it came down to the games that we had to win, it didn't happen. Bottom line is, it didn't happen. So,
no, you're right, Hank.
That's where I wonder what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Good points.
So
good points.
I wouldn't pay him. Not yet.
Yeah.
I'd have to see something spectacular happen next year, which you had more talent this year than you're going to have next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree, Hank, and I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think the kid does deserve another year for sure. And that would be a win-win, I think, for the Miami Dolphins, even if they let him play out his 5th-year option, because to be quite frank, the Miami Dolphins have the leverage. He signed a contract. He can come in there and talk and whine and complain, which I don't think he'll do. But he can go in there and say, "Hey, no, I want 45, 50 million." All Greer has to do, honestly, is say, "No, you're going to play out your 5th-year option. See you later. Bye."
Yeah.
You want to stay here? You want to play this year? Fine. 5th-year option. You want to hold out? Whatever. Fine. We'll draft a quarterback, and you're going to have a little competition, unless you just want to hold out and you don't want to play. Rob, what's your take on this? That rumor. Have you been hearing that?
I wish they would just have him play on the 5th-year option, even though wouldn't free up the money for the salary cap. But I'm afraid to give him a 5-year long-term deal. Yes, I know we can move on from him still. We moved on from Ryan Tannehill after giving him that big contract, but we found a team willing to take him off our hands without taking the huge hit. They took Tannehill's money off our hand. So will you find a team willing to do that with Tua if it doesn't work? I mean, I want the young man to be the future quarterback, but I want him to be able to go out, earn it one more year, because we haven't.
He's got to do something.
Yeah, he has to do something. he can lead the league in passing. That's fine. But when it came to be January and there was December and January, our offense sputtered. And I don't want to commit long term to a guy that we haven't really seen if he can do it then. And I don't want to settle because everyone says, well, he's the best we've had since Marino. But okay, are we going to hold a banner? Well, he's our best quarterback since Marino. So that doesn't get you a banner. So I don't like that. Oh, well, he's our best. And it may be true. He probably is the best since Marino. But is it good enough that you want to put him up? Joe Burrow, yes, he was injured, but he's already been in a Super Bowl. And so do you want to give him that kind of money? Are we going to be stuck like the Giants, your wife's team, Steve, and, sign a guy to a huge contract that doesn't live up to the expectations and then it hampers the rest of your team? All you have to do is look at the Giants as an example. So,
let me push back on that a little bit. Daniel Jones won a playoff game.
Yeah, but so do you really think he's worth the money he got?
No, I don't. But I'm just saying. Here's the thing, and here's the thing. If they are going to give an extension to Tua Tagovailoa, right? I honestly would not be. I would not complain if they gave him a 4-year, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed contract. Maybe with a if it's 180, what is that? That's for 4 years. That's 45 million a year, right? With let's say 90 million guaranteed, 180 million. Okay, I don't care about the 180 million, but if they give him that 90 million guaranteed, that's 2 years, right? Yeah. That's 2 years that we're obligated that, for him to play, or we could actually, that would be an out for us, right? That would give him an opportunity to play this year, right? And if he balls out, if he does great, fine. If he doesn't, then we could trade him or somebody would be willing to pick up that contract. I think if you give him a 2-year guarantee and have him play that, that 1 year, let's say he does great, keep him. If he doesn't, look to trade him or come off his contract or whatever. At least it gives us an out.
And it's all how, like you said, it's all how the contract's worded.
It's all how it's worded.
Because, we're not going to because we want Tyreek Hill. But say if we wanted to get rid of him because we're just blowing it up, it's not even feasible to get rid of Tyreek Hill because you're going to pay him even in a trade. Your dead cap money. So they got to word the contract so you can get, you're not having all that dead cap money if you make a move on him.
Well, he's supposed to be retiring, right?
Who's that?
Tyreek Hill's supposed to be retiring.
Oh yeah, no, he will.
After next year. Well, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Oh no, he's not.
I don't think he's retiring. No, I don't think he's retiring. No.
He says he would do it after 10 years is what he says, but people say things all the time, so we will see. He says he wants to play 10 years and retire. But what I'm saying is that even if we wanted to trade him, you can't because of the cap hit. So it's just like, are we going to be stuck like that with Tua, where we're going to have like a 28 million dead cap? If we try to trade him after.
Well, didn't they trade Larry Tunsil?
Yeah, but that was after
paid him.
He was on a young contract, Stu. Though he wasn't.
Was he still on a young contract? All right. So what if someone says, "Hey, we'll give you 2 first-round picks for Tyreek Hill"?
No, if you look it up on overthecap.com and you do under trade, it's not feasible. You'd be paying him more money not to be on the team, basically. We would have too much dead cap. Yeah, you get draft capital, but your financial hit would be brutal. So
interesting.
Yeah, just look it up when you get a chance. But anyway, hey, Frederick, Cap for Life, G-Man,
Cap for Life.
Daniel, Meanhand.
Fins up, Bobby.
Everybody's in here tonight. Hey, listen, guys. Everybody that's in chat tonight is Tuesday, and Bobby, yes. Tonight is Tuesday therapy. So we're having an open panel show tonight. So Rob sent the link. So if you want to join, just hop in here. Give us your take. Would love to hear what you all have to say. It doesn't have to be about Tua. It can be about anything. About the Miami Dolphins football team, Greer, Mike McDaniel, whatever you want to bring up, we'll talk about. But anyway. So we're basically, the three of us are basically in agreement that Tua doesn't deserve $55 million contract. And I know I saw Hooked Up Joe in there. He said the deal that I mentioned, basically it would be a team-friendly deal. Yeah, I could deal with that. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I could deal with it. I'm all about whatever the team
I mean,
wants.
it's not
to
my
do.
money, you know.
Yeah, it's not my money, so I don't care how they spend it, just as long as they
Right.
keep the right players in the right position.
And
That's
that's
all
a
I
good
really
point.
care about.
No.
And I
Steve,
think that
you
they
welcome
don't have
Fred
a
into the show. Sorry, Hank, but I stuck Fred. He should be audio only. Fred, are you there?
Oh, okay.
Fred. Oh,
Fred, you there?
Man, yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing, Fred?
What's
Good,
up,
good,
Fred?
good. Hey, good guys. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Can't complain.
Fabulous.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, man, I have a question for you guys, man. But it was too much to type in the comments, man. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, you're good. You're good,
But-
Fred.
But with the injuries to Jalen Phillips and Chubb, what do you guys think we need to do in that right there? From what I'm hearing, man, they won't even be back till November of next year. What do you guys think we ought to do with that right there, man?
Wow. That's a good question, Fred, and I'll answer it, and then Hank, you can go, and then Rob. They're going to have to bring in. They're going to have to either. I think what they should do is they need to bring in two veteran edge rushers. On a team friendly deal. Maybe a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. And hope that they can fill those positions. Now, will they be as good as Bradley Chubb or Jalen Phillips? Who knows? But we got to fill those positions. I mean, and that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because those are two critical positions that we've got to fill. And that's what people don't understand, man. We're going to be losing Christian Wilkins more than likely. Jerome Baker's probably gone. And folks don't realize that Brandon Jones and Deshaun Elliott are both free agents as well.
I think we're oh man, we're real weak right now on defense, if you ask me, man. What do you think? What do you think? What's the rest of you guys' thoughts on it, man? What do you think?
Hank, what do you think?
On what the edge rusher?
The edge rushers, yeah.
It's going to be a hard decision to make. You're going to have to bring people in if you're planning on seeing them in November. You know what I mean? There's no choice there. Now, is that through the draft? I don't know. We don't have that many picks. Are we trading down? We going back? Right. There's a lot to be said about the fact that they're hurt. And that's a great question, by the way.
No, it is. And you can always bring back Fanginko, so depending on the contract.
Yeah, that's another thing. We got to sign him, though. You're going to have to pay him. Yeah. He had a good year, too. You're going to have to pay him some bucks. But then are you and then we got Ogba, too. So,
Hey, not to interrupt, but we got Cap for life in the house.
Fins up, Cap.
Hey, look, I'm going to step out, guys, man. Thanks for having me up on here.
Thank you, Fred.
Hey, no problem, Fred. You're welcome anytime, brother. Appreciate you.
Okay, man. All right.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Fred. Hey, Cap.
What's going on, boys? How you guys doing?
All right, Cap. How you doing, man? What you got for us tonight, brother?
Not much. Just trying to feel the flow of today's current events. I mean, it's the carousel of Cap salary memoirs. Every year, it's pretty much the basic. So I mean, it's the hot names right now. But by the end of this month, we'll probably be talking a whole new batch of new names with no other teams releasing their players.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about this on the Spaces earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 49ers are talking about getting rid of their receiver
Ayuk
and their defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one example. Just imagine next month there'll probably be like 10 other teams doing the same thing. So it's just a wait and see process. We all know this. We've dealt with it numerous years. It's just part of the process. And that's just the carousel that we have to deal with the mental roller coaster that is this team. It is what it is.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well
That is
said,
well
Cap.
said. And the problem is, Cap, is this is not sustainable. I mean, we're at a tipping point right now, and I think Dolphin fans are spoiled. They've been spoiled over the few years with Ross opening up his wallet and giving Chris Greer, the monies that he needs to go out and get guys. I don't know, man. I have a feeling that Ross might be a little tight this year. I mean, we've got 21 free agents that we've got to, decide what to do with. 21, and about 10 or 11 of those are starters.
Yeah, there's one thing Omar Kelly was talking about today, which is starting to, come to fruition, that Daddy's going to give you the credit card so many times until Daddy has to pay the bill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think? Have you heard the rumors about Tua Tagovailoa getting?
I've heard everything.
What's your take on that? What's your
It
take?
is what we have to come to the realization that, if his draft class is getting paid, regardless of what you think, you have to take care of this guy the same way. You have to have the same respect, regardless of anybody's, outcome of what they think. You got to pay him accordingly to what the market is.
Right.
Now, if you tell me, you're willing to do the guaranteed money up front, but you're willing to at the same time protect yourself as a franchise and say, all right, look, we'll give you 100 plus guaranteed, but let's think about a 2-year contract as opposed to a 5-year, something
Right.
new.
Right.
That way both teams can have a win-win. And at the same time, if he's getting the bag now, if it works out for him in 2 years again, he gets another bag.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we were discussing.
Much bigger
here.
bag, actually. He would get a much
Yeah.
bigger bag for sure.
Yeah, because right now, who's helping us out right now? Wilkins basically played for free last year, no contract. Now you're willing to put him on a franchise tag. That's going to piss him off even more. Who's on our team that's willing to take that cut? Who's going to help us out?
Well, Xavier Howard already said he's not taking a pay cut. Is Jalen Ramsey going to reconstruct his? That's
the question we need to ask. If we're going to kick the can down the road, that's fine. I know we're going to do that, but who's willing to take the cut to help us kick the can?
Right.
That's the thing. I don't think many will. Some would take a restructure, but they're probably still going to want their same guaranteed money at least. And they may restructure to lower the cap for this year. It's very hard to find someone willing to take the hit, especially if they performed well. So
yeah,
it's tough.
Absolutely. And you're going to have, Mostert is going to want a little more money. 21 touchdowns, had a really, really good year. You don't think his agent isn't pounding on the table and say, hey, man, my client wants, maybe $300-400 extra,
Steve,
$300 or $400 million extra.
Look, I'm hearing around, Steve, that they're if they're going to make the move for Henry, I think he's going to be a cap casualty too. But I'm just,
that could be the case. Yeah.
You got Wilson there too. He's probably going to be a cap casualty. So if they really want to save money, they're going to have to think about these names that we know are going to be uncomfortable to talk about. But, we're in that situation where we have to have that talk.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Definitely.
You're spot on, man.
No, unfortunately.
But you guys tell me, what do you guys think? Any surprises, anything that just stood out to me, like anything that you guys are like, damn, I didn't expect that, or, you're worried about anything like, damn, I didn't expect that. What do you think?
Yeah, well, so far the coaching, some of the names I didn't know. Like we even hired a guy from Hawaii, so it's like some of the names we don't know. So some of those surprised me, but overall, so far this off season,
Sam leaving surprised me, man. I didn't think Sam was going to leave.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was
that was
surprising.
surprising.
Sam Madison and Ronaldo Hill, both of those guys exit. So that kind of stinks. I like the old Sam Madison legacy. At least it was like some good vibe. Like, okay, at least we got some good vibe on the Dolphins team. Now he's gone, for reasons unknown, but, he's gone. So we'll see, man. But as far as moving forward, that's going to be where all the questions is going to be interesting. Do they get rid of Jerome Baker? Which probably so. They probably do get rid of X, but it's going to have to be after June 1st. So are they able to get Wilkins back, or do they just think it's not worth giving the big bag, or they just can't give him the big bag of money because of the mess that they're in? So it's going to be an interesting off season. and very interesting just to start seeing the cuts that are coming soon to free up money. Like Mike White is gone for sure, probably. I was going to say for sure, but I have to throw the probably on there.
I heard Barrios was gone too already, right?
Who?
Barrios.
Yeah, Barrios is gone. But Mike White's under contract, but I think Steve, I think, has over the cap numbers.
Yeah,
but I think
it was 8. It was 8 if he stayed, but you could take 4 if he decides to get, become a casualty, We'll say 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, and we got to think of Craycraft too. Craycraft, I would like to keep Craycraft. I mean, he's let's be real here. He's our best blocking wide receiver. Craycraft, River Craycraft. I liked him. He may not have been you may not have seen his production in catching a lot of footballs. He was hurt a little bit this year too, but when he's on the field, he's one of our best blocking wide receivers that we have.
When's Waddle's contract up?
I think Waddle's is up next year, right, Rob? Or Hank?
Yeah, but we could do what we did with Tua. We could put the 5th year on him next year.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
which is what they're probably going to do because he's played well enough to get the 5th year option nailed on him. So
right, and I think Jalen Phillips, his money's
to
up too, right? Isn't Jalen Phillips money? Isn't he due some money too? Or
no, he was drafted the same. He was drafted the same year as
Waddle.
So.
Okay, so he's got another year on the contract as well. Then,
right?
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah,
we're not for sure what they would do with him. Because of the. Hopefully, he comes back from the injury. Fine.
That's the thing, man. That's an Achilles injury, and you're talking about a big man. 275 pounds. 6'6", and he's got to use his weight. His to push off. Well, you saw that's how he hurt it. And, how is he going to respond? How is that, I mean, I know they're doing amazing things in technology, medical technology nowadays, but still, these guys are out there freaking, they're killing each other out there, man. I mean, they're pounding each other into the ground. So I don't know. We'll see. But, anything else, Cap, that you wanted to say?
Just, as far as like, you guys know the holes that we have, like, do you guys feel that if we're too far off in the same amount of holes, I mean, like, do you feel what edge rushers we talked about? That's 2. Middle linebacker still is a question mark. And even though we like what Long's doing, but you didn't get anything from Kendall.
The problem thing, the thing with Long is he's a good run stopper, but he's not consistent. He doesn't blitz the quarterback well, and he's not a good passing coverage.
So that's 3. That's 3 positions right there, right? So the offensive line, I'm not even talking the offensive line yet. That's going to be another 3.
Exactly.
I'm just, have we ever been in that situation where I need to tell you, hey, the interior 4 is messed up, the edge rushers are gone, and the offensive line, 3 out of the 4 guys, they produce, but they want their money. I mean,
I wish we could.
Oh no, for sure, man. I mean, we got our offensive line's a mess going into the contract years. Because Armstead is, you're not gonna. If he retires, you still have some dead cap space that you can. But he's not going to retire because he has 18 million reasons to come back, most likely. So he will come back. But how many games are you going to get out of him? Left guard is a whole new question, all of in itself. Center with Connor Williams. I mean, if you sign him again, he's injured. Is he going to be ready to start the season? And then, right guard Hunt, he's a free agent. So we got right tackles, our only really for sure guy.
And don't forget,
Eichenberg's okay, but do you really want him to be the starter?
Exactly.
To me, Eichenberg's the guy that's really good to fill in at any position in a pinch when you need him. But do you want him to be the starter every game moving forward? That's the big question there. So
and then you got Kendall Lamb is a free agent as well, and he played solid when Armstead was out. So are we going to keep him?
Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna head back down, man. Just wanted to hear you guys,
right,
man.
Say
what's up to you guys, man? Fish Tank, Steve, Thirsty, man. Keep doing it, man. You guys don't stop, brother. It's gonna be a long 6 months. We need you.
All right, thank you, Cap.
It is. Thank you, Cap. Appreciate you joining us tonight, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Let me go over some of these numbers real quick.
Hey, look what Evan said. See if you can take him serious.
You all are so negative and overreacting. I'm the only common reason. But yeah, right. Sure, Evan.
So maybe reasonable, common reasonable means something different up in Canada.
Yes.
So
You
Yeah.
forgot to look up the fact that Crossman's gone, but that's okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Hey, here's the thing. Cat made some good points. We are in cap hell, and the thing is, it's not sustainable, and we can't do this. We can't do this for much longer, and we've got to get ourselves back into a good budget, minding our monies, man, because right now it's just ridiculous. So you know who has the highest cap this year?
The Cowboys.
what do you mean, like the most to spend or
No,
the
the
most
most to
over
spend,
the cap?
the most to spend this year. You know who has it?
Oh,
The Commanders, I think.
Broncos.
Nope, Commanders, $73 million. 73.
Wow.
Titans have 68. Patriots are looking good. They've got 66 million. Bengals got 59 million. Joe Burrow. And they paid Joe Burrow. And they still got $59 million to spend.
Cincinnati's historically on the cheap, so they're always good at the cap, and they've paid their quarterback, so that's good for them.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then you got the Colts, 58 million. Here's one that this is a team that's going to be coming back, and they got their franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. Houston Texans. They've got 56 million. The Bears got 46 million. Cardinals got 41 million. Buccaneers have 36 million. I lost my place. Where?
Anyway, yeah, there's a
Lion,
lot of teams. You can get.
yeah,
you want to get down to the bad news. Steve
yeah,
just wants to get to the
Lions have 46 million. So all these teams, and we're right down here at 31, and we've got minus 51 million. The only one worse than us, well, the one that's close to us are the Bills. They have
Saints,
51 million. And the Saints have 80. They're 83 million in the hole, man.
Wow.
Yeah, 83
Wow.
million. So
hey, at least we're not the Saints. We can say that. At least we're not the Saints.
At least we're not the Saints, but Jesus.
Pretty damn close.
Pretty damn close, man. And that's what I'm saying, man. We've got to, something has to stop, man. I mean, I don't know if we're going to do it this year, next year, but we've got to do it soon. We can't be living like this, man.
Daniel
as far
says
as
he thinks the Texans are going to sign Christian Wilkins. That's a good point. That's a possibility, Daniel, for sure. They got the money and a defensive-minded coach.
Who it's going to be? You know who it's going to be? It's going to be somebody like freaking San Francisco 49ers.
Or it'd be
somebody
like
England.
That. It'd be like New England, so we have to face them 2 times a year every year.
I was about to say
too.
New England.
Yeah, it could be New England. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, New England or Buffalo or some. Well, Buffalo can't do it.
Time.
They're already in the hole. But New England could do it for sure. Oh, and the Jets. I think the Jets are somewhere. Let's see what the Jets are. The Jets, they're 4 million. They got 4 million to play with, just to start off with. So
how much do the Steelers have?
The Steelers, oh man, they're under. They're in the red, man. 16 million.
16 million over the cap.
Yeah,
over the cap. Yep.
Yeah, they're over
16 million. Yeah. So we got a lot of work to do.
The Jets are a little bit under the cap, but they don't have tons of money either. So
no, they don't.
Like
but
4 million.
And that's something else we can talk about, man. All these quarterbacks that we're going to be playing against, right? We're playing against C.J. Stroud next year. We've got Aaron Rodgers is coming back with the Jets. I know he's 40 years old, but he can still sling that ball around. Then we got Josh Allen we have to contend with. Now New England is going to be the question mark. who are they going to get? Who is their quarterback going to be? But then you got Lamar Jackson. You've got, Mahomes. You've got Trey Lawrence. You've got, Deshaun Watson is coming back. You got Joe Burrow that's coming back next year after his injuries.
Yeah, you're going to have Justin Herbert under the
Justin
tutelage
Herbert.
of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, So
it's going to be tough. I was joking to myself today. I think Barry Jackson heard one of my videos this week. He did an article on everything I was saying this week. I was like, oh, we got these guys coming back, these guys coming back. It's going to be tough. And then let's face it, Mahomes and the Chiefs are the real deal. Impossible to beat those guys right now, man. And then in their own division, we can't even beat Buffalo. So we got a lot to deal with. And this was supposed to be the window of the next 2 years. It's supposed to be our window, and we still haven't won a playoff game. So it is. I know this is therapy, so we need a little more cheerfulness going on. But I guess the therapy does help talking about the bad, get it out of our system.
Here's a little therapy. I've been hearing talk about Robert Hunt going to the Jets because they need offensive line help.
Yeah.
So we could be playing against Robert Hunt. So they'll pay him. I hope we keep him too. If anybody deserves it on that offense line is Robert Hunt. The dude has been quiet as a mouse, and he does all his talking on the field. He's been a model citizen. He's been a model Miami Dolphins player for 3-4 years now.
Yep. And until this season, he was almost in every single game. He got banged up a couple times this year, but he's been very dependable other than that. So he's definitely I think they can maybe find a way to keep him if he wants to stay here, of course. He's going to be able to test the market. Some team could blow him away with a contract. So, Yeah,
that's the thing, That's the thing. But so we got a lot of quarterbacks we're going to be playing against, good quarterbacks this year. We're going to play not all of them, but we're going to play a few of them good ones this year. And teams, I think the Jets are going to be better this year. I really do. They're going to. I know they're going to fix that offensive line now that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I'm pretty sure they're going to put some money into that line and try to get that taken care of because Aaron Rodgers is coming back. So. We can't count the Jets out this year, coming up. Of course, we know about Buffalo. New England is the question mark right now, although New England always play us pretty tough. It's an interdivision game, so they always play us tough. It's tough, man. But here's some good news. All said and done, once we reconstruct some contracts, we let some players go and all that kind of stuff. And I was listening and I've listened to Kyle Krabs, who's really good with the cap numbers. Omar Kelly is too, for that matter. But anyway, by the time I think it's March 11th or March 13th.
March 13th.
March 13th. Once March 13th hits, I think we can have realistically 22 million to play with. But here's the thing though. We've got 22 free agents, right? 21 free agents. Let's say we bring 21 free agents in. Even if you paid them $1 million a year, there goes your $21 million.
Yeah.
You see,
the money goes fast. I mean, the money goes fast, Steve, in the NFL.
That's the bind we're in because we're not going to be able to bring in quality. I mean, I can't say quality, but we're not going to be able to bring in big guys. Guys they're going to make a mark right away. I don't think not with that kind of money.
Have they announced what the new cap number is going to be? Are they going to raise it significantly?
I think they're going to raise it a little bit. But that's really not going to make any difference, right?
No, huge, but it could get you help a little bit. Any dollar helps when you're
but then they raise the cap, and guess what? Player salaries go up too.
Yeah, I know, but exactly.
So it's all relative. It's all relative. You're still in the hole.
Nope. I lost.
You're still in the hole, right?
No, of course, but it still helps because salaries are going to go up. If salaries went up and the cap number didn't go up, then you're really in trouble. So. Yeah. At least they kind of weigh each other out is what I'm saying. So it helps.
Right. What do you think, Hank? What do you think? You think Miami's going to keep Hunt? You think they're going to look, we got Isaiah Wynn. We forgot about him. He's going to be gone, right? Or unless we pay him again. What do you think they're going to do about this O-line? Are they going to go on the draft? Are they going to go through free agency? Because we're going to need at least three or four.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, if you ask me, just about every year I say the same thing. Trade back, especially this year. You have great players in the 30s. You have great players that are first round picks in the 30s. So if we were to trade back, like to say to the second round in the 30s somewhere, I think that would help us out immensely. Pick up like that gap between 55 and 156. Throw maybe a couple picks in there, and do some wheeling and dealing, however they choose to do so. But I think we need more picks in the draft, and that's going to probably be our best way to cover that, to be honest with you. But the best part is we have a lot of great players in this draft, especially for O-line.
Yeah,
So,
no, I know.
O-line
you're
and
very
wide
well said.
receiver.
I just don't know, since it is a good draft, maybe teams won't be willing to trade up. You're not going to get it. Who knows? We're going to say, oh, why am I going to give up stuff when there's so many good picks in this draft?
Yeah.
So it may be hard to find a partner, because I hear a lot of teams want to trade down in this draft. So it may be hard to find a good partner. But
I don't know. 21, that's when people start thinking, Thirsty. They start thinking, I need to get back in the first round. That player's still there. That player's still,
right. No, I know. That's the one thing. That's good. It is. Yeah. No, you never know. You're right, because I'm 100% with you. That's what we need, but it just never comes to fruition half the time. But
No,
we don't have. We picked in the first and the second. I think we got picked 55, and then we basically don't pick for another 100 players come off the board before we pick again. So I think we're 156 or something in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me tell you
crazy.
something, man. Let me tell you something, man. If he doesn't trade down, Hank, which I'm with you though. I think we need to trade down, to have more picks, to claim more picks. I really do feel that way. But if we don't and we keep our picks, right, 1 and 2, they better be starters from the first freaking day.
No, they have to be starters.
Yeah, they
Day
have
one
to be.
starters.
He can't be playing those games that he plays and picking up somebody that's hurt and can't play, or this or that. There's always something wrong with who he picks in the first and second rounds. That's what I don't like. That's why I think him trading away the first round and picking somebody up in the second, third, or fourth, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I just really want.
Do we have a fourth? I don't think we have a fourth, do we?
No, I'm saying if we trade
back.
If we trade back. Right. Yeah.
Trade back to get a second, a third, or a fourth, whatever it is they get. But we need something to fill that gap, like Thirsty was saying. We definitely have to fill. That's too big of a gap. That you got to get.
I know you're going to watch 100 good football players come off the, come off the table, off the board.
They'll be chomping at the bit, boy.
Yeah, I know. It's just we got ourselves into a mess because we don't have the third round pick as the final punishment of the tampering, and then we don't have the fourth round pick because of the Chubb trade, the final.
Yeah.
And that really stinks because Chubb won't even be helping us this year. So it's like, man, we got 2 picks that we don't have from, and I'm not blaming Chubb. People get hurt, unfortunately, but it just shows the punch in the mouth that this draft is. You got a third for nothing. We have a third just because of the stupid tampering, as every team in the whole league does, but we're the Dolphins, so we get big punishment for it. They already took a first last year from us and a third this year from us. So it's just
holy crap.
But they were going to nail us for something, and that was the easiest one to prove because they don't want to prove tanking, because if they prove tanking, then every gambling person's going to say, oh, you're tanking. I'm suing the NFL for putting a fake product out there. So they couldn't say, okay, they tanked. So they just went with tampering. But it's a known secret. Everyone does it. But it's
no, you're right. You're right. Hey, I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight. Appreciate you all for joining us. Please hit that like button. It's free. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'd like to have you back. And if you want to join the show tonight, Rob has dropped that link, and I guess you could drop that link again, Rob, if anybody wants to join us. I see G-Man's in there, Raphael's in there. We got
there was
a lot of
Mark was in. There was some
Mark
Hammer Time, Mark
Hammer
Sims,
Time. Yeah,
Daniel, and of course Cap for Life already Hammer Time. So we're good.
Yeah.
All you
Yeah.
guys.
So if
thank
y'all
you.
want to join us, and we'd like to get some of your takes as well. So we appreciate you, joining us tonight on the show. But yeah, so Hank, let me go back to you again. If we were to trade down, right? Who would your first? What position? Not who, but what position would you draft?
Wow. Well, I'll keep in mind that Greer's doing the drafting first of all.
Unfortunately.
So I'm scared with the offensive line, but that's what we need.
I know.
That's what we need. It sucks to say it again this year, but that's what we need. We need that. We need edge. We need a linebacker. We need safety.
We need everybody.
Yeah. Well, we need a lot for a team that's Windows right now.
We need
and I don't want to cut you guys off, but we got someone that just joined us.
We need a whole new team, man.
Yeah, basically is how that sounded. Maybe Hook Up Joe will give us. He's coming in. He's just in the studio. Hooked Up Joe, give us some therapy and tell us why the Dolphins aren't as bad off as we think they are.
How's it going, Hooked Up Joe?
It's going good.
Good, brother.
What's up?
See, you're the right person to come on. I'll tell you why. Because you have a soothing voice.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for Tuesday therapy.
Thank you.
Well, let's see what he has to say before we compliment him too much. Joe, what are you going to say?
I used to freak out about the cap all the time. I mean, the cap this and the cap that. I mean, we've gone through ebbs and flows of cap hell in the past. We got T-bombed, and that wasn't the only one. So we're kind of used to freaking out about the cap, and it is a real thing. But in the end, it always seems to work out. I mean, last time we were like, oh my God, we're just like, what are we going to do with cap? And then all of a sudden we get Tyreek Hill, and you're like, that seemed impossible. I mean, we were already figuring out what we're going to do with the cap. Of course, that was, that's a heavy hit and a discussion point. But in the end, I think the cap's going to work its way out there. We're probably, I could easily see us kicking 20 million to next year. We got 10 million this year. We got the 10 million dead cap this year from the June 1st last year with
was that Byron Jones?
Byron Jones, yeah.
Right.
So we're probably going to double that going into next year, just because that's the only way we're going to be able to fill the roster spots, because y'all are spot on. My biggest question about trading back, a lot of times when you trade back, it's some picks in this draft, and then it's some picks in the next draft, and maybe even one in a following draft. So if somebody want to trade up to our kind of pathetic first round, we're not really going to be, it's not like we're trading a high-end pick. It's just the first round, but it's just, I mean, all that does is afford you your, fifth year option, and you pay them more. But when you're on the end of that first round, it's really all it's getting you from a high end too, right? So if we could trade back for a whole bunch, somebody that had just a ton of picks in the rounds that we don't have rounds, and some scenario came up like that, and we could trade back to fill these plethora of freaking positions that we need to fill right now, then that would be probably the optimal thing. I mean, we probably all agree, based on what you've been saying, that would be a great way to go. So will we find something like that this year, where somebody's ready to trade away this year's draft? Maybe they don't need a lot of people right now, but this is a really good draft. So how many teams are going to come in here and say, well, I'm going to trade away a bunch of my chances to pick up all these great players? It's kind of like, I don't know if we're going to be getting something like that. It's kind of a hard ask right now.
Yeah, that's what kind of I touched on, Joe. That's what my worries is, because a lot of teams are probably thinking like us, like, oh, there's so many good players. I'm just going to sit here and accumulate or try to trade back them if possible. But you did bring up a good point. The cap, they will get under the cap. But what to do with that money that they get, that's where they can't screw it up. They can't spend it wrongly again. That's the trick. It's easy to say you got money, but then you spend it on bad stuff. It doesn't help.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Hooked Up Joe. So where should Miami spend all their money in free agency at? On the defense or the offense?
I think it's going to be almost best player available because, when you say we really want to find offensive linemen, but there are zero out there or nothing you can touch with what we have for capital to work with, then, maybe it is going to be some more depth pieces, some fill-in pieces for Chubb and Phillips, because that's a hurting piece. And to think we're going to get some powerhouses in here that want to play half the year and then be competing for a spot, there's a lot of other teams that somebody like that's going to come in. So and are you really going to draft somebody that's going to fill in those positions? And that's kind of the issue, is trying to draft somebody to fill in Chubb and Phillips spots on game one. That's a lot different than being able to draft somebody that can fill in for Armstead when he goes down in game 6 or 8, maybe, hopefully, right? And that person has a chance to get a feel for the game and get in there and maybe do some stuff before he has to be in there. So you'd like to see money. Actually, I'd like to see the money spent on the offensive line. If we can find somebody, even if they are the defensive line, because we can draft for the offensive line and have that person trained, because we definitely need, my first round pick would be somebody behind Armstead, because obviously, and we got 50-50 shot June 1st, Armstead could be completely gone. And then then what are you going to do? That kind of flips it. So
yeah, that's a good point. And you're right, because Armstead, how many more years is he going to give us? Yeah, and again, we don't know when he's going to go down. So you're going to need somebody. If anything, you need, because Kendall Lamb is in his 30s. He's been playing 9-10 years already, so he's not a young spring chicken either. So I think you're right on. I think we do need to, and Hank, I think we do need to draft an O lineman, a tackle, someone that we can develop, someone that will be able to fill in when Armstead is no longer with us, or even if when he gets hurt.
Yeah, I agree totally. You never know what, Armstead is the unknown every year. Okay, well, say we get 8 games out of him. Say we get 10 games out of him. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. Now, in the second round, they could pick a player that could plug and play. You might be able to get a player in the second round that can plug and play. You never know. We could get some lucky dice. You never know. But with Greer, my faith with Greer picking O lineman just isn't real high. I'm not going to lie. It's not real high at all. I don't have a lot of faith in him.
In all fairness, he did find Austin Jackson, although he took a while to develop, and they moved him around until he found a spot for him. Now, was he elite? No. Was he better than average? Probably not. Was he average? Yeah. And Robert Hunt. Remember, Robert Hunt was a Greer pick too.
I like Hunt.
Yeah, and Hunt was another one that was supposed to come in, and he moved around from tackle to guard, left guard, right guard. Then he finally found that spot, and it took, but so maybe he can find another, solid player like a Hunt or an Austin Jackson, because with this scheme, and tell me if I'm wrong, Hooked Up Joe, with this scheme that Mike McDaniel and the gang run, you don't have to have an elite tackle or center or guard. All they have to really do is hold the line for 2 to 2.5 seconds. That's it. And I don't think McDaniel is gonna deviate from that this year.
I don't think he's going to be able to, especially early on, because that's kind of an end product of your offensive line to play the way we do, because you have to, we're still working our way out of the 30-second, and just, you're not going to go from 32nd to first. But what I do think is that only the Jets had to switch around positions more than we did this year. So the crux of the cookie to me is, while Armstead is a great player and we needed him to fill in, kind of to backfill our lack of coaching and leadership in the room at the time, he's kind of a problem, because when he's taken up a roster spot, we have to use the IR, and we have to play musical chairs on the offensive line and with our entire roster off and
Right.
on
Right.
with the IR. And just
Right.
because that's the only way you can have injured players and then keep the players that you need on the field, is you have to use the IR as kind of a place to offload some people. You saw us use an IR for roster reasons. So if we can get Armstead, go ahead and June 1st him, we'll get $9 million this year, which we need. We'll kick over 10 or whatever to next year, just like we did with Byron Jones. Okay, we're just going to get that 10 million and kick it over to next year, kind of like borrow Peter to pay Paul on that one. But go ahead and get the roster spot back. And not only that, we have the ability to develop players now. We got those players we drafted that maybe aren't that great. Maybe they are, but we've made them do something. And we've gotten people off the shelf for 2 years in a row. We've gotten off the street players. Last year before last, now that we're into next year already, it's hard to know what year we're talking about. But instead of this year we just played, a year before that we were playing like 5 guys off the street, like at the same time. By the time we got to the end of the season, we had one player we had from the beginning of the season, and the other were people you could just happen to pick up along the way, right? Some of those have turned into some players we keep this year, which shows we can develop. So if we can get to the point where our guys have backup positions, we don't have to have stellar guys, like you're saying. We just need the guys to be able to stay in the same spot. So I would rather have depth and be the top heavy team we are everywhere. Get rid of that. Offensive line is the first place to chop the top heaviness off and go with depth and development.
So
that's a good point.
So do you think that we should do our best to keep Lamb and win then?
Yeah, we have to have some cohesiveness, because that's a big part of the O-line too. And that's, but at the same time, I think if we can bring in from the draft or mid-tier free agency type range, because, we aren't going to have a lot to work with. We got to have mid-tier people. So we just get those people in and have enough of them. Our problem is we've never had enough offensive line players. Our roster's one shy. Last year it was like 2, and I don't know, it's because they don't care about it, whether they don't want to fill it or what, but that's why we're playing musical chairs.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Greer is, he's not worried about the O-line. We're more worried about the O-line.
We're more worried about the O-line than he is, and look how it turned out.
So
yeah.
And please, Chris Greer,
somebody enough time to think, let alone throw the ball.
Yeah. And please, Chris Greer, don't bring any more injured players in. For instance.
Definitely not, man.
I mean, it's
we need
ridiculous.
guys that, like you said, whoever we bring in this year, whether it's free agencies, draft, undrafted free agents, they got to be able to contribute. None of this like, oh, he has potential and he's raw. No, we don't need raw. We need a guy that's ready to step in, plug and play, especially the first and second round picks if you don't trade back to get.
Yeah, we don't need projects.
Definitely.
No, you can't. I mean, all rookies to an extent it's going to be, but you better be one that's ready to at least step in and play from day one. Not a Cam Smith who never saw the field, Channing Tindall who hardly have to see the field. You need guys in there playing right away.
Rob, I have a feeling that Greer is going to say, hell with that cornerback spot. Hell with that safety spot. We're just going to fill it with Cam Smith and whoever and Ethan Bonner and all the other guys that they had.
I mean, they may very well, they may very well be forced to do that this time around because, it is what it is. I just wanted to get to some of the comments. Lo-Fi, we've seen all your comments. Thank you so much. Lo-Fi Anatomy, NFT. Thank you for all your comments. Jarrett Hill, we see you too. So thank you. So don't think we don't see you guys in the chat. You're just as an important part as a team as everyone else. So thank you so much for all those
absolutely.
comments.
I am reading the comments. I am reading the comments in the chat, and I see there's a lot of good comments in there. People making a lot of good points, like you said, Rob. And we appreciate you joining us tonight. Again, if you want to, well, we're about running out of time here, but we're probably going to do a Tuesday therapy. We'll do this once a month during the remaining of the off season. Of course, when the season begins, we'll go back to the regular formats, but we'll do the Tuesday therapy at least once a month. Anyway, that's my.
But we'll be here
that's my
almost
plan.
every week unless.
Oh yeah, we'll be here every week. We'll be here every week. I'm just saying the Tuesday therapy where we'll have a panel, open panel where everybody can come up, in the chat and say their piece and everything. Because I enjoy that. Like hearing from other Doll fans. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. Putting together our heads and coming up with ideas and talking Dolphins, man. Talking shop about the Miami Dolphins. That's what it's all about. Hey, Hank.
Yep.
I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, man. I appreciate you, brother. It was a great surprise for you popping up, and you're always welcome anytime. You know that?
Don't thank me. I'm thanking you guys for having me on. I saw Thirsty had put something out, and I said, well, let me pop in tonight. I do have guests, but I wanted to stop in and see you guys. I hadn't talked Dolphins in a little while, so I guess I needed a little extra.
Well,
you need a little therapy. You need a little therapy tonight.
Yeah,
right?
I needed the therapy. Exactly. So here I am.
There you go, brother. Appreciate it. Rob, thank you again, brother. You always do a good job there directing the traffic with the comments and stuff. I appreciate that, man. And we're just going to call it a show tonight, man. And again, appreciate y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new, I see some new folks in the chat, go ahead and hit that subscribe and share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And remember, folks, we may not always agree everything Dolphins, but there's one thing we do agree on is we are all Doll fans.
There you go. Rob. That's always one of your sayings, Steve, and it's very well said. And we all kept it nice today, so it's good. Some panel shows, they're crazy out there, so we kept it friendly. We kept it nice. May disagree sometimes, but hey, we keep it friendly disagreements. So
absolutely,
it's all
absolutely,
good.
Brother.
All right, Steve, whenever you're ready. So
all right. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, Dolphins number one, baby.
Dolphins number one. Nail that thumbs
up. Miami Dolphin fans, let me ask you something. Do you love the Dolphins? Do you think they are the greatest football team? How about the greatest show on surf? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then fins up and surfs up to the greatest show on surf.shop today. Celebrate the most explosive offense in the NFL with this awesome exclusive merch. From jackets, hats, shirts, and more, they have it all. Use promo code FINSTALK and save 15% on your order. Show off your fandom. Don't wait. Go to thegreatestshowonsurf.shop today.